Hey everybody, welcome back to our Texas Real Estate and Construction channel. This is Aaron Trevino, and we have a guest from the beautiful state of Florida. We have Javier Cruz. How you doing today?
I'm good, my friend Aaron. How are you today?
Hey, I'm
Greetings
good.
to everybody that's on.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's great to connect. I was intrigued, by your background and what you do, and I know we chatted a little bit before, but for those of us who aren't too familiar, could you introduce yourself and what you do in the real estate business?
My name is Javier Cruz. I'm in Orlando, Florida right now. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, and I started my venture in real estate in 2009. Like everything in life, we have to find the right partnership and mentorship and coaching so that we could be successful and not have very hard falls in the process. So. In 2015, I incorporated and I have a company called JK Awesome Deeds. And I'm focused primarily what I have been doing from the very beginning is working with people in foreclosure. Um, I'm a Navy vet, so I kind of put myself in the service breed of human nature. With that, then I chose to help people that are in foreclosure, and from there, then I scaled to some other things in real estate that are also to impact our community, looking at homelessness and working with organizations that provide the support to follow up on these initiatives.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know we talked about it a little bit beforehand, but it sounds like you came at an interesting time, 2009. There was a lot going on at that time. Could you talk a bit about maybe some of the struggles or the lessons and how you came out?
Well, I was going through a situation of my own. You know, the economy changed, properties were upside down, so I found myself losing a job and not being able to keep up with my mortgage. So I had to fall back on my rainy day resources, and that kind of went into depletion mode. So I had no choice but to try to reach out to some attorneys. Unfortunately, they took me for a ride for 4 years. I spent most of my money, and then to ultimately lose my property. So in those struggles, I had to find a way to continue to stay in the fight to keep my property. So I've had it for a long time, and there was a lot of equity in there, and to just lose it into foreclosure is really sad, and I wouldn't hope that on my worst enemy. So in that process, I said, well, let me use my energy to focus on learning how the process all works. And so I started reaching out to different organizations to see who would be willing to provide some information to help me out. So I said, well, you know what? This sounds very interesting. If you're lending this hand and it's helping me get out of my situation, by all means, I'm going to continue to pay it forward. And that's how it all started.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, life throws some curves at you that they kind of tend to help you structure yourself
Hmm.
and not be uh, taken over. I'm saying by the in the evil realm of things. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
um, that's how I got started. If that
Yeah.
answers your question, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I find it interesting that you're meeting those people. I guess, if you're dealing with foreclosures, obviously, sorry to hear about the situation. That's obviously hard, but it's interesting that you had that experience yourself and you're always also able to provide a good service to people who may be struggling as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that's my passion, and I believe that's a calling. My faith calls me to serve. So, in learning and what through my own circumstances, and I can relate to the people that are in that same situation, and then actually find a solution that works for all of us. And that's very rewarding to me, especially when then later you have people that come back to you and they're your friends forever because you genuinely help them out. It's not an easy process. Sometimes um, it takes a lot of research, and I've learned that there's some systems out there that really can help you uh, put yourself in a position to fight back and keep your property, and just to give you a little scenario of some of how these situations work, it's all about a debt and it's all about a note that you hold and you held from the very beginning, and then it deals with financial institutions that are uh, handling that note. So sometimes these notes are transferred to other entities without the homeowner knowing. So now we have to understand why that happened. And if it happened without the homeowner's permission, now there's some violations involved. But in order for us to have the upper hand in that type of situation, we have to reach out, which is to organizations that monitor banks' transactions. So what I do in order to help these people is I order a securitized audit Bloomberg report, which shows me how they have managed these people's notes. So, and that with that comes an expert opinion that helps me then teach the homeowner how the bank handled their notes in violation of their rights.
Mm,
So when those things uh, are provided, now you can genuinely tell the homeowner here, this is what we initially started for you. Now you can go and acquire an attorney that can help you a little further because now you can see that how your rights have been violated. Some of us investors know how to manage the system to find these uh, this information. And sometimes you can, in my journey, I have found that, not everybody works the same and has that compassion and that passion to really help people. And all they're out there to do is to profit. So I take a different approach on what I've done, and it's made me very successful. I have good reputation in the industry, and just by word of mouth, um, I have business all the time. So
mm.
it's easy for, along the years, I've learned how just looking at paperwork and listening is very important when you're trying to find a solution that works best for all.
Mm. Yeah, that's really interesting. It sounds like it's a financial education issue as well, maybe with people who get in these sorts of situations. Is there a common theme that you see maybe with some of your clients or maybe something they should know to kind of prevent this sort of thing from happening or for getting this bad?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, from it, like we mentioned that I learned, I got into this learning mode in 2009. So,
Hmm.
when 2008 came along, things
Yeah.
got really bad. So
Yeah.
people were ignorant, and when you don't have the education in regards to how finances are managed, then you have a problem.
Mm,
So then you have to reach out to people that are genuinely willing to help you understand how it all works. But a lot of people I've seen that have gotten into wanting to have a home, but not really understand the liabilities behind it all, and then find themselves owning something or trying to keep something without really having the means to do this. So it's not sometimes their fault. Their desire for them to have a roof over their heads is commendable because they're trying to take care of their family. But then on the other side is the professionals looking at some vulnerabilities and just taking advantage of people. So, we it's not their fault. So when we go into owning a home, then it has to work uh, equally on both sides.
Mm,
It's not fair. So
mm,
I just call it, it's not fair, but life is not fair, right? So,
mm.
um, but it's about, like you say, it's education. If you don't educate yourself before you take on a responsibility, then the outcomes might not be as rewarding as we may think.
Mm. Absolutely. And I guess that educational piece is key. I guess would you call these deals pre-foreclosures or what exactly would you call these?
Yes, these are pre-foreclosures.
Okay.
I've learned how, we everything's systems, and in order to stay in competition as an investor, then we have to learn the trends and how technology evolves so that we can stay current, and competitive, right? So um, we have systems, and they're working automatic, and if it depends on how you set them up, how much you have to work to get things done. But um, there's systems that I use that allow me to go into certain markets and like my backyard, because I try to take care of my community. That finds me these people that are in foreclosure, and with the data that is being collected, you're privy to it, so because it's public record. So with that open public records, you can then find the most vulnerable people, because and then actually understand where they are even before contacting them, so that you can have a better understanding on how you're going to be able to help them and educate them, because it's all about educating yourself, like you say. We have to, as investors, we have to educate ourselves. We create the specialized knowledge, which is is broad, and then we have to learn how to present that in to the homeowner that might not be as educated as you are, so that they can be open uh, to then receiving the education, and then getting them to the negotiation table, and then work out a solution that works best for all of us. So, but it's all about systems. You go out there and you have to do your research and due diligence, and sometimes it takes a month, 2 months, and then you then create a campaign. That's what we call it. We create some campaigns. We create a list of, it depends on how hard you want to work, and you reach out to these people that are in foreclosure and pre-foreclosure. So people are still living in these properties. You send them postcards, you send them cards, you call them, you text them, and then ultimately, if you see that their situation is getting very urgent, and the sheriff is about to knock on their door, then you have no choice. But if you generally want to um, help these people, you go and knock on their door, and you um, provide them with a scenario that might create an alertness in
Mm,
them to act. Because some people are like, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. They're not going to kick me out of my house. But I have seen that when you do not do nothing, there's an order sent to the sheriff's office, and the sheriff will knock on your door, bring a crew with them, and tell you this is not your property, and put all their stuff on the side of the curb. I have
mm,
seen it for myself.
mm,
So it's, you have, sometimes it takes that type of conversation for you to create a win-win situation for all of us. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I've seen
mm,
some people that are very hard, and they take a very sentimental value to what they believe is theirs, and they just put themselves in that vulnerable position, and they're put out on the street. So
mm.
You know,
Yeah, and that can be so hard. I
it is. It is hard.
Yeah, it's I guess it's a tough situation. Just trying to see what your role here is. Is it more of a do you make a cash offer or are you assuming the note or what exactly is it?
Well, my mentor is out of San Diego, California. I don't know if I should mention him or not, but because I don't have his permission. But he's been very valuable to me, and what he's taught me, to do was, in the beginning, to make things simple. Uh, we present ourselves, we educate them, and we then provide them with a solution, which is they're in foreclosure. It's all about the debt that they have. So what we're doing is we've already analyzed their situation and we know where they are. So we're trying for them not to lose their property. One, that first option to it depends, and it depends on how deep we go into researching their mortgage. So a lot of times when I mean, I've acquired the knowledge and the experience to read a mortgage note and then understand that there might be a red flag behind that. So then that's where that securitized audit Bloomberg report comes in. We get it back and then we offer it to the client here. You can use this to defend yourself, and that's it. And we'll leave them alone. But when we know it's more financial, there's a debt behind the foreclosure. So what we're trying to do is settle their debt, save their credit, and if they have equity in their property, they've been in there for a while, they have equity. So what we're trying to do is take care of the debt and in exchange, uh, transfer the deed in our name under certain terms and conditions so that then we can pay the debt to the bank, directly to the bank. We get their authorization to speak directly. We have these legal documents that they have to sign so that we can follow up with their servicer or the mortgage lender, whoever it may be, and then talk to them directly and ask for a reinstatement letter. Once we get the reinstatement letter, then we're trying to put them in good standings, and we save their credit, and we get them out of foreclosure. So then, in exchange for that, we have a written agreement already written out as a contract that to buy, and then what we do is then submit it into escrow, and whatever equities are left from this negotiation, then we provide them with a cash out so that they can be happy, so that they can be able to move out of their property and move somewhere else a little bit more comfortable than just not getting anything in hand. So,
Mm.
when they're presented with that option, they're more likely to accept your help, and our help is free. So um, that's how it all works.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So Javier, is there anything that you haven't said you'd really just like to hit home for us? Maybe any sort of projects you're looking forward to this year in 2025, any particular types of deals?
Well, yes, I'm currently working on several projects that are very close to my heart, and I wanted to share them with your community because I believe in the power of collaboration and sharing purpose. One of the primary focuses is establishing David's Harmony House Foundation, which is for shared housing solutions, which is very trending right now, and people are looking to do that, being that the rents are very high and people are looking for different solutions. So um, one of the primary focuses for Davis Harmony House Foundation, which will provide housing solutions, like I said, for the homeless and underserved communities in Central Florida. It's a project rooted in service, where like-minded investors who share the same passion for giving back can come together and make a real impact. So, well, I know I can do a lot on my own. I firmly believe that the greatest successes come when we work together. So this isn't about just making a profit. It's about creating a better future for our fellow Americans, right? When we collaborate, we can bring what we have to the table and make a difference that's far greater than what we any of us could achieve individually. And the beauty of this is that as we give ourselves, we also give back in ways that enrich our own lives and communities. So with this, this is more than just a business. For me, it's a calling. So we're continuing to, you know, uphold our traditions, in service and helping other people. So, I've served the military and I've seen how we uphold many traditions, but one of them that I dear I hold dear to my heart is honor, and as a fellow citizen, we should strive to make this a better world. And when we help, other people that are vulnerable and that are needing some help, if we have the means, I think, we should all get together and try to do something to give back to our community and not, and make a positive change for the future of our communities. I think
Abs
that's what I have to share.
All right. I think that's a great way to wrap up. I really like that message.
Thank you. I appreciate your time, and I hope that your viewers can reach out and ask questions, and if I could be of service to any of them, junior or not, then I'm here for you guys. Okay.
Absolutely, y'all. We will have Javier's contact information in the show notes. So we'll have a few links, his contact info if y'all want to get in touch, whether you're in the state of Florida or another part of the country, or you just want to talk about his line of work. So again, Javier, thank you again so much for sitting down with us tonight. I learned a bit about what you do, the foreclosure process, and how you meet people where they're at and help them out. So thank you again for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all,
Have a
signing
good
off, and we will talk to you later.
have a good night.